Okay, we're going live, or we are live. We're admitting everybody. So I'm Judge Person. Good morning. I know that folks will be sort of getting oriented. I think audio is connecting for various people. So I just have a few folks I'm going to want to identify here in a moment. But I do welcome everybody to the Temple Municipal Court, and I am Judge Person. I want to also let you know that we have two dockets meeting today. There is a pretrial docket, and then and that's just by agreement. And then there is a my regular docket. And the state has attorney Ryan Matson here from the state of Texas. I think his video is still connecting, but we'll get over to him shortly. If I could just quickly, iPhone 2, I'm going to ask that person to unmute and just let me know your name.
Jonathan Passwoods.
There we go. I'm just changing your name on the screen, and that's temporary. And then I also had someone named Jessly. If you could unmute and tell me your name.
Jessly, ma'am. Jessly?
What's the last name, please?
Reyes. Reyes.
Gotcha. Thank you. And I had that one's still connecting. Let's see, Haley Ford is here. Got it. And there's a Samsung, two folks, gentleman in a orange shirt. Maybe y'all could let me know who's here for court today.
It's my mom, Marcelina and Enrique Garza.
Okay, great. I've got y'all checked in. And then I also had, the audio is still being connected, but Brady Mendenhall, is that right? Just thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, so I just want to let you know a few things before we get started. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That is what a ticket is. It is an accusation, and you have certain rights and duties with regard to that accusation. And as I get started on that, Mr. Matson, could you just unmute and let everybody know your name and your title, please?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ryan Matson. I'm the prosecutor for Temple.
Thank you. Mr. Matson, Kendra File is here from the DeKoch Law Firm. And Ms. File, if you could unmute, let me know your audio is working.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you very much. This is the Ramirez case. Yes. And I'm actually going to have both of you just meet in the breakout room and come back after y'all have had that pretrial discussion, and we'll go from there. So just back to what I was saying, there's a duty to keep your information correct with the court, a duty to show up on time, which was normally that's going to be in your summons or on your citation. On a ticket, it's at the bottom of your ticket where you sign. Your court date was there. And then on your summons, there's a court date in that summons telling you to appear by a certain date. And then if you get extensions or you get into, for example, like a payment plan with due dates, there's a duty to keep up with those dates. You also, prior to your plea being accepted by the court, you have an option to meet with an attorney if you choose to do so. If you're trying to do that before you get started today, if you aren't ready to proceed, if I have not yet accepted your plea, if we're not already in the case, you can delay your case and get a new due date, a new court date. And if that happens, then, we'll just reschedule for court. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is I'm going to need a signature today, whatever it is that we do next. I'll need your signature. One way to get that is through email. If you're able to print and sign an email back today. Another is to come by the court and make a signature here. You might wonder why do this if you're going to have to come by here anyway, but there's no line when you get here. If you're coming by to do a signature, it takes about 3 to 5 minutes once you're here. So I'll work with each person depending on their circumstances in connection with that. But let's go ahead. Oh, I've got another person coming in. I'm going to go ahead and let that person in. But then I want to do a couple of more things. Hold on just a second. Let's see. We got 4. We've got. All right. And I've got one that there's no audio. So I'm just going to connect to that person for a moment and try to chat with them. So what I will tell you is, so in connection with the accusation, if you recall a moment ago, I said that a ticket or a citation, a summons, those are all methods that we are accused. And when we give a plea, we're giving our answer or our response to that accusation. There are 3 options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. If you plead guilty, you're saying I did this. Not guilty means that you are contesting the charge, and no contest means you are authorizing the court to find you guilty without admitting or denying the offense. Haley Ward, I hear you. As long as I see your email or chat message, and we'll work on an audio level if we need to. So I understand. The person that is labeled Samsung SMA146U, it's a gentleman, I believe, in a turquoise shirt. I can't hear you at all. I don't think you can hear me either. And your audio is not connected. And then a person named Elliot who says, I can't hear. Your audio is not connected. So let me try it here. I can text with people, but it's not really, it's not really preferred. So if we can't get it to work, you'll have to come into court. That's going to be the answer for that. So I have a lot of people texting me, and I can't, that's not part of any kind of saved record. So I'm not going to be able to just do a lot of that. On the Ramirez case, Ms. File, Mr. Matson, let's check in and see where we are. This is the single charge accusation of failing to control speed from August 2nd. Where are we with regard to this matter?
Your Honor, Ms. Fowler is going to take an offer back to her client, and we'll reconvene prior to final pretrial.
Okay. Final pretrial is scheduled for September 6th at 2:00. So either we're here or I've got paperwork that allows me to move that forward or change the date, one or the other. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Counsel File, you're good to go whenever you're ready. And Mr. Swain, I'll do the same with you and Mr. Matson. Let's see. There we go. So back to, if you plead guilty or no contest, you're authorizing the court to find you guilty. And then we're moving that case into sentencing. And normally that means payment of fines and costs. Now, there can be, I've got too much going on the screen, and I'm just going to let everybody know on the chat stuff, I'm shutting that down, and I'm probably not going to continue to do that. It's too distracting. The only purpose there was to try to get people to connect their audio. So what I'll tell you is that, as I said, if you are pleading guilty or no contest, we're moving into sentencing. And normally that means paying those fines and costs, having it go on your record. At that point, though, at the very beginning of your case, there are still 4 ways to gain a dismissal. They are compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court. Compliance dismissals are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. I'll let you know if you have something like that. Driver safety courses are moving violations under state law. And in some circumstances, if you're qualified to be in that program, you can have your case dismissed through a driving safety course. The offense has to be qualified, and you have to be qualified. Once you're qualified, there are things you have to do. I'll talk with you more about that if it looks like it might apply to you, and you're welcome to ask me about that as well. The third option is if you have a case that can, if you ask and receive a deferred disposition. Deferred means delay. Disposition means to make final. I delay making your case final. I put a court order in place. That court order will actually have things for you to do to gain a dismissal. At the end of the deferral period, if you've done everything listed in your court order, which you will have a copy of because you will sign it, at the end of that period, if you've complied with everything listed, then you get a dismissal of the charge. And so it's a way to know the outcome. And then the fourth thing is to do teen court. And with teen court, you have to qualify to be in the program, namely be enrolled in school. We'll need proof to that effect, or homeschool or a GED program if you're court ordered into one of those programs. So we'll work with you where you are on that. It looks a lot like a deferred because there are things for you to do, but it resembles it because they might look different what you have to do, because young people have different concerns and constraints than, say, adults and working people. But if you comply, just as with a deferral, you gain a dismissal. With a teen court option, what I'm doing at that point is kind of pushing you into that program unless you don't want to do it. I'm not going to force you, but it is a way to save money and keep the item off your record. So it's a pretty good deal, and it does result in a clean record. Mr. Swain, Mr. Mattson, if y'all could unmute. Let's see where we are with Jacob Miller's case.
Your Honor, Mr. Swain and I have reached agreement on terms of deferral,
Okay,
and those terms are going to be 120-day deferral period with a 6-hour driver safety course submitted by day 60, and payment of the fine within 30 days.
okay. So from today until December 14th, the case is deferred. During that time, there is payment by September 14th and a course by October 17th. Mr. Swain, Mr. Mattson, have I verbally stated your agreement properly?
Yes, Your
Yes,
Honor,
Your
that's
Honor.
our understanding.
Okay, then I'll approve that agreement. And I will email to you, Mr. Swain, a copy of the order here shortly. And as long as you sign it and get it back to us today, that would be great. If you could do it by noon, that would be even better. Is that possible?
Yes, Judge, it should be. I'll be in my office at least until 1 or something. So yes.
Okay, we should have this out to you here shortly. I'll sign it. Mr. Mattson, I will, based on your oral motion, I'll go ahead and move that forward for you.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right, then I'll approve that. And Mr. Swain, you're good to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Mattson, your next person is Maricelina Avia, and I think she's here with another family member. And folks, if you could unmute as you did a moment ago, we'll just make sure audio's working. Great. I'll move y'all over to that meeting with Mr. Mattson. He is the prosecutor. He's the equivalent of the DA in this case. He's not your attorney. He's the opposing party's attorney. Just make you aware of that. And what I'll do is let y'all meet, and then at the end, you'll come back over to this meeting and we'll all check in. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
You're welcome. And I'm actually going to move forward with Haley Ward. If you could unmute and
Hello,
hi, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Were you telling me your video's not working? Is that right?
Yes, I tried to get it to work, but it won't.
Okay. Let's just see what we can do. Okay. When I do that though, I go ahead and just confirm. If you could give me perhaps the I don't want your first, sorry, I don't want your whole address, but could you tell me the house number?
19922.
Okay, so I will just go ahead and let you know, you're charged with the theft under $100. Your fines and costs, if you pay the ticket, are $296. The allegation date is July 29th. I did receive your plea of guilty and also your note about trying to keep your record clear. I want to talk to you about that because I have a way that we can do that. I do want to let you know that you qualify for, it's kind of like a compliance dismissal. It's a little bit different because it's not really compliance, but we have some prosecutor dismissals that I treat as if they are compliance cases. And the way that that would work is that you would need to be on time for court, which you currently are. And then we reschedule you for 60 days. Sorry, 30. Do we do 30 or 60 on those? 60 days, we'll reschedule you. And that would be October 17th. And I'll want your signature on that, although we need to talk about that because I know you're out of town. And then the next thing that would happen is we would make available to you theft intervention class. You would take that class at your own expense. You would turn in a copy of that completion certificate before your due date, which is October 17th. You appear on that date in the court like we're doing right now. And I look, and as long as the course is completed, the case gets dismissed, it goes off your record, and you don't pay the $296. It's kind of similar to a pre-trial diversion, although we're not exactly pre-trial at this point because your plea is on file. But do you want to do that and keep it off your record?
Yes.
Okay. So the next thing is, are you in the area? I can't remember how far your place is out there, Darnell.
I live about 45 minutes from the municipal court.
Okay, and you work in this area, is that right?
I work in Granger, which is Williamson County.
Okay. So you actually don't drive this direction to work either, right?
No, I drive that direction for school.
Oh, I see. Where do you go to school?
Temple College.
Okay. Do you have class today? Are you driving in today?
I am not. I have work today. I'm driving it tomorrow.
If I email you the documents, can you print them, sign them, and email them back?
I can try.
Well, court dates aren't based on trying. They're based on doing.
No, I'm so sorry. My printer's been acting up, but I'll find a way to get it back to you.
Is there a way to, will your employer allow you to use their printer?
I can ask.
Okay. If not, you'll need to call the court.
If not today, I can come in tomorrow,
I'll allow it.
or I can come in early this morning.
That would work too. Will that work for you?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna have everything at the front desk for you.
All
Just
right.
come by, you'll get a copy of everything, including we will give you information for how to find a class. Okay.
All right.
And then you just get that class done. You don't need to wait till October. If you
Mhm.
if you turned it in next week, I would go ahead and sign that dismissal.
All right.
Okay. But just have it here no later than your return date, which is October 17th.
Yes, ma'am.
And that way you qualify for that first offender program, and that allows a dismissal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ward, any further questions before I let you go?
Nope.
Okay, we'll have everything at the front for you shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mattson, I am moving Ms. Avila back over. I'm also letting in the gentleman who's on the Samsung that keeps not connecting. So, okay, on the Avila case, if we could just have Marcelina, I'm sorry, Marcelina, thank you. You unmuted. Thank you very much, ma'am. Ms. Avila and Mr. Mattson, where are we on these cases?
Your Honor, we have a tentative agreement in place, so we're going to go ahead and continue to final pretrial, but there's a possibility it will be resolved before then.
Okay, so September 6th at 2:00, we'll be here in the courtroom unless I've removed all the cases off my docket. Ms. Avila, let me just do one quick thing. The charge of breeding place mosquitoes, is that in a payment plan? It says it's inboxed.
I think it was dismissed,
Okay. That's fine. That'll
or
work.
it's in the process of being dismissed.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't need to address that. Okay, we're scheduled already for September 6th at 2:00. And that's here in the courtroom, unless I've taken it off the docket. The way to know that is just call in the morning and check and see. And Ms. Avila, if it's still on the docket, you'll need to be here so we can clear up any confusion, okay?
Okay,
All right, we'll maybe see you then.
thank you. God bless you. All
Thank you very much. Are y'all are good to go?
Thank you.
right,
Miss.
thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mattson, no one further on your docket, so you're actually good to exit.
Thank you, Judge.
Unless you just want to hang out with us this morning.
Before I go, I did have one thing to bring up. I filed an agreed motion from Mr. Miller.
We did receive it.
Okay, I just wanted to touch base with you on that. I told him I would talk to you. We have a tentative agreement that we're working on to avoid trial.
Is that for tomorrow's trial dates?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll take a quick look right after court and we'll make sure you get an answer pronto.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Thank you
I'll
very much.
talk to you later.
And yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Morning.
Yes, you too. Thank you. While he was talking to me, I just took a moment to organize. I probably look less organized, but actually it's better. I have a quick question. I just want to check. Samuel Fleming, are you here by any chance? I think he's the gentleman trying to get his, Mr. Fleming, is that you? I'll keep trying with him. We'll see. And then the next thing is Jacqueline Jones. I didn't see you. I just want to confirm that I indeed missed you. And Crystal Reed. And Misty Ross. Okay, so everyone else, I'm assuming you're here. And Jonathan Pasowitz, can you unmute and let's talk?
Yes, Your Honor.
How are you today?
Doing good. How about you?
Thank you for asking. I'm very fine. Ma'am, your mom?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay, and your name?
Jennifer Pasowitz.
Okay, this is a single charge of failing to control speed. The fines and costs, if you paid it, are $264. I did receive a plea of no contest, and I had a dual request of deferred and teen court. I'm just gonna let you know up front, teen court is where we would start. If somebody's not qualified for teen court, we'd look at a deferred for the simple fact that teen court places more of the burden on you and less on your family's finances. I think that's appropriate when you're a young person in school. So we start there, okay? Deferred is good where other things don't work, but they tend to be more complicated than the other things that could work, if that makes sense. So I try to simplify things, because making it harder and complicated actually doesn't help. Okay. And what I've learned is that because you are in the leading bracket for death and dismemberment on the Texas roadways, we want it plain and simple here. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, Mr. Paskowitz, am I
Yes.
doing okay with that? I'm not trying to butcher it. I did grow up in the area. I should know how to say all the names, but I'm always wanting to put T's where they don't belong and stuff like that. So anyway, back to the matter at hand. What I'll tell you is that first, I want to make sure, Mr. Paskowitz, that you understand certain principles that are operating today. So you're accused of an offense of failing to control speed that normally tells me that there was some kind of impact. There may or may not have been another vehicle. Sometimes it means that you've just simply lost control of the vehicle. It doesn't mean you're speeding. That's a common confusion point for lots of people. So I just usually talk about it right up front. The next thing I wanted to ask you is, do you feel like you understand the options of pleading guilty, not guilty, and no contest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mom, do you feel like he does understand?
Yes.
And that y'all both understand what the accusation is?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you are at Lake Belton High School, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
What year will you be this year?
Junior.
Okay. So teen court in this particular case means a fee and a class and an essay. And the reason that it's a few more than one thing is because you really are in the highest group. So my folks that are 25 and under are in the leading bracket of people who are likely to have death or dismemberment on the Texas roadways in their driving career. Once you move from just 25-year-old, that's the top group. With a ticket, that's the super group. Okay. So you already are in the super group, and there's an accident, which is like a +1 on that. So what my goal right now, and I'll bet you anything, it's Mom's too, is to get you to survive driving, right?
Yes.
And if I do something that takes a long time, I'm delaying get addressing what I think is the most critical thing, which is just learning from the thing that got you here, the most you can learn, and moving on. Okay, moving forward. So with teen court, there's a $20 fee. Can that fee, it's a cash fee, can that get paid today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And then your class is going to be due September 14th. With a normal like driving safety course option, people get 90 days. I don't want to wait 90 days because that's where that's where the accidents happen. 30 is my max. Okay. And then your essay, which is just short, it's a 3-page reflection type of thing. We'll give you that as essay assignment in writing when you get here. It's going to be due right at the same time. Okay. Mom can proof it, but can't write it for you, but she should and proof it and help make sure you do a good job. How does that sound? If you do those two things, then you get your case dismissed. You don't pay the $264 because right now, this is not a money issue. This is a safety issue.
Yes, ma'am. I do have a question.
Yes.
He just did defensive driving for a speeding ticket a month ago.
Okay.
Can we do defensive driving again or we can't do it again?
Technically you can do it again. Let me ask what's important to me, and thank you for letting me know, because when you turn in your course, we see it. So here's my question. Where was that charge and what was it?
It was in Morgan's Point for going 9 over the speed limit.
Yeah, I've heard about Morgan's Point. Okay, so Morgan's Point. But I'll tell you, low levels of speed can hurt you. They can. That ticket, was it before this one or after this one?
Or
Okay, and then when you took the course in relation to this ticket, did you get this ticket and then take the course, or take the course and then get this ticket?
He took the course after, we had till October to get it done, and we got it done early.
Okay, and then he got this ticket, or he got this ticket and went ahead and took that course?
Well, he had gotten this ticket at the beginning of August or right at the end of July. And then he just took the course right after this happened. We were already planning on doing the course.
Okay, right. Okay, so you've taken the course for another ticket. That's not a problem. But I think the class we're going to shift to, and I hadn't actually decided yet which class. So you've already taken that. I mean, having you pay for and take that course again, to me, is a waste of time. Okay, so the better thing would be to take the same exact money and the same exact time and take a life skills course, which is going to be a little more broad. Okay, but it's not like it's more like you're going to avoid boredom. Okay, but it won't be more. It'll be 6 hours like that was. It should cost around the same amount. Okay, but the topics will be a little different, a little more broad, and it's more general stuff. Some of which you're already doing well at, like attending court on time, but other things are going to be addressed there too. And it won't be a lot about driving safety, but since you had this wreck and then took a course, I already feel like that's the corrective for part of it. But here we are with 2 offenses, and you're in like the +1 group. So let's do a little more. Let's just take it a little further. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If y'all agree, then my next question is, and the due dates stay the same. My next question is, when can you be here?
We can come in
We can
today,
come today, yeah.
Yes. Today, what time?
anytime.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going to hang up with you here in a second. Can y'all head on over?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's 9:40 right now. So let's say by about 11:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Everything will be at the front desk for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and I'm moving forward. If I could have Jesly Reyes Maldonado unmute, please. Good morning.
Morning.
How are y'all this morning? You're on time for court, and I believe this is Mom.
Yes.
Okay, what's your name, please?
Marta Maldonado.
And this is a no driver's license charge. The fines and costs are $181, and it is for July 23rd. And I just want to make sure that Mom knows, ma'am, what is your daughter charged with? Do you understand?
Sí.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. You've entered a plea of guilty. Do you understand those pleading options and what they mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Teen court is probably our best option. I did receive your plea of guilty. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
With teen court, there's a $20 cash fee. Can that fee get paid today?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And so actually it'll be that fee and a 6-hour life skills class and a 3-page essay. And they'll be due September 14th. And mom's actually going to need to come with you and bring you up here to sign documents, make that cash payment, and get all your paperwork. What time can y'all be here today?
¿A qué hora cierra? ¿A las 5?
Ahí,
Ahí.
no,
¿Qué horas puedo-
la corte cierra a las 4.
¿Qué horas puedo estar ahí?
Pues a las 4.
At 4, is that fine?
Or it's fine. Okay, we'll see you at the front desk at 4. It'll only take about 5 minutes.
I have one question. What time is closed? The office?
You need to be here by 4.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Brady Mendenhall, can you unmute and let me know how you're doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you, ma'am?
I'm well, thank you. I did review your case and it's a theft under $100. The fines and costs are $296, and I did receive a no contest plea. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're 17, which means that I can proceed without a parent. I didn't see any income. Are you living at home with family? Are you working?
I'm living with my grandparents.
Okay. And are you working?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine. You do qualify for a theft intervention program. You do have to pay for a course. I think that course runs under $50.
Okay,
If
I'll be
you,
able to do that.
yeah, sorry.
I said I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'll be able to do that.
Okay, I gotta get a signature today. What I do is give you 60 days. That's till October 17th. As long as you sign today, and you turn in your class by October 17th, then I just dismiss the charge. It doesn't go on your record, and you don't pay it or do community service. You just get it removed.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
If I did a deferred, I would do the same requirement, except you would also then be hit with like 14 hours of community service. So this is just an easier way, and it keeps your record clear.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. What time can you come by today?
Well, my ride's probably gonna be Elliot. He's my friend.
Okay.
So
Next.
as soon as he gets off, we'll probably be able to head over and sign.
Okay, let me visit with him too. Hang on just a moment, okay?
Okay.
You're actually next, Mr. Hart, so the timing's good. And yes, thank you for unmuting. Thank you. You're actually in the same position. You qualify for the first offender program. There is differences in your cases slightly, so I just want to make sure that we're going down the same rabbit hole together on this one. I did receive a no contest plea from you. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
And then if you do the first offender program, there's a theft intervention class. Usually runs about $50. It would be due October 17th. I would just need a signature today to keep you qualified to be in that program. First of all, do you feel like you could complete that course?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if you could, sorry, hand down for a minute.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. What time can y'all be here today?
Anytime, really.
Okay, it's almost 10. Why don't we say by 11:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Everything will be at the window for you. You'll come to the court, just sign some papers. We'll give you information, both of you, for how to get a class, find a class, and get it done. You're responsible for getting the certificate and then turning it into us. Don't rely on the program place to send it to us. I've never seen that work, to be honest with you. And just want to make sure y'all get this, off your record, and you save the money too. Okay? Because, y'all are both young men. Y'all are looking, to your future. And this kind of conviction, if you were to get a conviction onto your record, it can really keep you from getting good employment. And so what we want to do is get some intervention now. before you mess it up permanently. Okay, you're right at the point where that could happen. And it would be a good idea just to learn and move forward. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
just a quick question. What was being taken?
I
Y'all
cannot
can-
remember.
Okay. Brady, do you remember?
Yeah, it was Twisted Tea.
Oh, man. Not needed.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so this falls in the category of what we call a bad decision. And so the course is just about like what we know, this is just like evidence-based, is it'll happen again, except that you can intervene and prevent it. Okay. You'll be in a position where you're tempted to do this again, because once it happens one time, we know it could happen again, but doesn't have to. And the course you're going to take, I've actually taken the course. It's not really boring. It's really pretty interesting. And it's going to help you think about you, because you're both different. Like y'all may be friends, y'all may have both been there, but everybody experienced it a little bit differently. And it's really designed for you to think about what drove your thinking in terms of how this seemed like it might be okay at the time. It might just be fine. It might not be a big deal. And then it became like a very big deal very quickly, right? And so what's going to happen is they'll back you into your own strategy for how to not let it happen again. And that will be different. It won't be the same for each of you. It's just an internal thinking process, and we're all different. So once you get through that process and you demonstrate that you can pass the course, which is not a challenge, I assure you. And it really isn't boring. It's kind of an interesting class, one of the more interesting classes. Once you get it turned in, I dismiss, but just not later than October 17th. You'll be scheduled to be on a meeting again on that date. But if I get this in early, I can just dismiss it early and waive the almost $300 that you would be responsible for otherwise. And also keep it off your record. It's a total win for you, because the prosecutor and I have this program because we agree the best thing for our young people is to not have thefts on their record. And we can't do it over and over, but we do it the first time we see you in hopes that we have, that we build better community. So hopefully that's what'll happen. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll see you around 11. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You're both good to hang up.
Okay.
Mr. Fleming, can you unmute? Can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me? I can't hear you and your audio is not connected. Can you reply to the message, please? I think that you've also called in because I recognize the phone number to be your number. If you'll unmute the phone, we could talk. I've asked that number to unmute, but so far no one's unmuting it. Yeah, but I can't hear you. You have to unmute. You'll need to unmute your phone. If you cannot, I can reset your case to a live setting. Quick question. He pleaded not guilty. Has he missed court dates? I'm just gonna schedule him for, what's our next final pretrial or pretrial, October 31st, August 31st, sorry.
Our next one, I'm sorry.
Well, there's no final pretrial date,
No.
right? But, so we're having a live court on August 31st? Or when are we scheduling the next pretrial?
The next in-person pretrial will be the 21st.
Okay.
You hear me, Judge?
I can hear you.
Ma'am.
Okay. All right. So I received your, we have several cases. One is operating a motor vehicle with the wrong license plates. This is alleged from a stop December 6th of 2020. Your fines and costs are at $430.30. The case has gone to warrant for non-appearance. And I did receive a plea of not guilty. I also received a plea of not guilty for a running a red light charge. The fines and costs are from, I'm sorry, the charge is from January 6th, 2022. And the fines and costs are at $499.20, in large part due to non-appearance on the date that was at the bottom, the date that was at the bottom of the citation. I also received a request for community service which we really don't get into unless you're sentenced. Because, the fact is you've pleaded not guilty. So right now, your right is that you're entitled to a trial. I need to schedule the case for a pretrial. We normally do that online. If you're able to participate online, I can schedule that online for August 31st.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, are you in the area?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I need to get a signature in order to recall your warrants. Can I get a signature by emailing this to you and having you print it and sign it and email it back? Or do you need to
Yes,
come?
ma'am.
Okay. Email works.
Ma'am?
So the email will work.
Yes, ma'am.
You're going to be able to print it and sign it and email it back to us.
I'm gonna try to get it done. Yes, ma'am.
It's not a try. You're either going to get it done by email or you're going to come to the building and do it. Which is it going to
Yes,
be?
ma'am.
Which will it be?
Yes, sir. If I don't get it done by email, I'll definitely come in and sign it today.
Okay. We'll email it to you, but I need it back today
Yes, ma'am.
so that I can get your warrants off. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That way, we can get your warrants out of play and then meet online in August 31st. And you can
Yes,
do
ma'am.
it like you did it today where you're visually on and then your audio is on the phone. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll email that to you here in shortly. Thank you.
Okay, we're done for now.
For now we are, once we get your signature. But you can
Okay,
hang
thank
up.
you.